October 28th. The start of a new week, and we got this. Time for a coffee break and a chat about a realistic utopia of a fair society. It's only by setting us this objective that we will have a chance to eliminate violence and war from our lives. Today I want to talk about cars. And no, I will not talk about their impact on the environment, even though that's bad. Walking to the train station yesterday drove home once again for me what impact cars have on our society. Let's start with the fact that driving a car infuses us with a sense of power. The more, the bigger and fancier the car. That's the result of a study which has been reproduced again and again all around the world. The important thing that this study showed as well is that this sense of power makes us believe that rules are for other people, as we are above the law. In the test, the drivers drove right through a pedestrian crossing despite a pedestrian having been present, wanting to cross. So they would have been obligated to stop, but they didn't. What does this mean to believe? What does it mean to believe one is above the law in the context of society? Well, society is a cooperation of people toward common goals. To be able to formulate common goals, the people coming together, the cooperators, must start from a shared reality. Every human self-generates their own model of the world, hence they are naturally diverse, these models. A sliver of shared reality can only be created when all cooperators replace some of the data they would choose themselves to create the best model of the world for their circumstances with a shared dataset that contains all the motives, goals, rules, and structures that govern the cooperation. They must do so at all times and fully. The belief to be above the law describes a situation in which the cooperator doesn't do what it takes to keep the cooperation alive. The cooperator doesn't replace all the data they want to choose with the replacement data set. The belief that is born behind the wheel, but also by holding positions like manager and politician for any length of time, creeps from there into the rest of the driver's life. But there's a much deeper problem with cars. The replacement dataset governing the cooperation must not only be compiled, and in a fair society compiled in such a way that all cooperators have the same say in its configuration and can agree to all aspects of it because it will give them exactly what motivated them to cooperate in the first place. It must be constantly maintained and adjusted as we gather new information. What is the goal of a cooperation in the end? It's a process that must happen from the bottom up, through interactions, conversation, and debates with the people in our surroundings, in our immediate surroundings, the people we are living together with and cooperating with in the best case scenario. Before we develop the habit of using cars to go everywhere, we couldn't avoid interactions with the most diverse people everywhere around us, where we went and go and worked. The conversations were as important as the place we intended to reach. Now, even when we don't use a car, all we have in mind while moving is our personal destination and our individual goal there. There's no room left to communicate the differences between our models of the world to see what alignment must happen to enable us to cooperate. What takes us to my last point. Cars make us forget that the other is not a thing, and those make us forget that there are even other realities to discover, what again has an impact on our own understanding of us and the reality we experience in our heads. How so? We, like other animals, have the gift of mirroring. We see someone else move, and 30% of the motor neurons in our own brain fire as if we are doing the movement ourselves. Every emotion shows in our body with a physical reaction. So these mirror neurons are connected to the area of the brain where our emotions are located. And we feel what the other creature in our side feels by mirroring their physical reactions. One thing it does, it helps us to distinguish between arbitrary emotions and goal-oriented actions. Goal-oriented action means intelligence, but more importantly, a body with a mind. By reproducing what the other creature does, we recognize consciousness. Theirs and ours. In German, there are even two words that make the distinction clear. Körper is the body as a thing. It can be a star, it can be the people, the body of a people, to say so. It can be dead or alive. A Körper can be the corpse. Leib is a body with a conscious mind attached. A mind that self-generates a reality and therefore can formulate goals. That makes a Leib a far more interesting energy to interact and possibly cooperate with than a body, a Körper. That's something to exploit only. As cars leave little of the body that we can see, a human in a car becomes a Körper, a thing to exploit, not someone to reflect a possible reality of a physical universe back at us and exchange information. Here's the thing though, we have no proof for the existence of our own conscious mind, other than the conscious mind at work in other creatures reflected back at us. By turning others like us into Körper, things to exploit, we develop an understanding of ourselves as a thing without mind and agency, especially no agency to generate our own world. We delegate that to an outside source, that we give the power to exploit us and destroy us at their pleasure. Something totally unfree. Any thoughts? Tell me, tell all. Since our models of the world change with every new information we gather, and the models are only accessible to others when we communicate them, we are part of never-ending negotiations that require constant conversation and debate. So yes, that's all for today. I'll be back tonight with a TikTok live. You're cordially invited to my kitchen where I prep dinner. Something with sweet potatoes and cauliflower casserole, and where I talk about just that. Cars. The impact of cars on society. And the ability of us all to cooperate. And as always, you can read the transcripts of my videos on my blog, Hyperobject Mind. The link is in the bio. And I hope to see you again. Until then, bye.